Welcome to the MT-Equip Site Summary Reports video. This video will provide an overview of the reports provided at our collaborative meetings. On the cover page of each report, you'll find the date range of the data within the report, and below this you'll find the date the summary report was issued. Each report contains data from the prior submission interval. For example, at the May meeting you'll receive a report that has data from the February submission. The description of cohort section provides information on the different ways in which the patients may be grouped. For example, when you see a graph indicating cohort 2, this includes all patients that had a blunt or penetrating mechanism and who had an age greater than or equal to 16 starting January 2013, and an ISS of greater than or equal to 5, and had a hospital length of stay greater than 1 or dead, and were admitted to the trauma service if ED disposition was not death. At the end of this section, you'll find a legend for the preceding graphs. This legend provides an explanation of the center's performance or outlier status. For the purposes of our reports, a white bar indicates better performance than the collaborative average based on a 95% confidence interval, or low outlier status. A gray bar indicates average performance than the collaborative or non-outlier status. A black bar indicates worse performance than the collaborative average or high outlier status. In the Statistical Methods section, you can find details regarding our statistical approaches. In short, MT-Equip data is risk and reliability adjusted unless otherwise specified. This means we attempt to statistically account for the differences in severity of illness and case variation to compare patients across the collaborative. When data is missing, we apply imputation techniques to help minimize bias since these data are not frequently missing at random. This section also contains definitions and procedure code inclusions. For example, the meaning of timely for patients who received a brain monitor placement for management of traumatic brain injury can be found here. The site summary contains 5 types of graphs: mortality, trends over time, outcomes, process measures, and data validation. Let's review the graph structure, then test your understanding. The title of the graph identifies the outcome being measured. Here we are looking at mortality for cohort 2, excluding those patients who are dead on arrival. From the description of cohorts, we know that cohort 2 contains patients admitted to the trauma service, and DOA is defined as a patient who had an ED heart rate of 0, blood pressure of 0, and GCS of 3. The x-axis provides the ID of the trauma center. The y-axis provides the percent average performance for the outcome being measured. The red dashed line indicates the risk and reliability adjusted average for all the trauma centers. The color fill of each column indicates better, average, or worse performance than the collaborative based on a 95% confidence interval, or low, non, and high outlier status respectively. Let's try an example to test your understanding. What outcome is being measured by this graph? If you said mortality for patients being admitted to the trauma service, excluding those who are dead on arrival, you are correct. What are the identification numbers for the centers who demonstrate low outlier status or better performance than the collaborative average on this graph? If you said 23, 24, and 15, you are correct. What are the identification numbers for the centers who demonstrate high outlier status or worse performance than the collaborative on this graph? If you said 3 and 5, you are correct. Final question. Does Center 10 have better, worse, or equivocal performance in comparison to Center 18 on this graph? While the performance for Center 10 is lower or better than Center 18, both have non-outlier performance based on a 95% confidence interval. So, the order of the bars with the same color does not technically indicate superior performance. The graphs provide a comprehensive overview of care and outcomes to indicate the areas where you may need to drill down to the patient level. At the end of the site summary report, you'll also find a filter index. The filter index is intended to be used on the online reporting tool available on our website. It identifies the menus and filters that can be applied to recreate the graphs within the report and drill down to the patient level to identify where care can be improved. Thank you.